Hi everybody, Anna's here. I got a really good question about how to learn new vocabulary. How do I do it? And today I'm going to be talking about that. So let's cut to the chase. But first of all, I want to say thank you guys for your questions, and I'm going to try to answer all of them. And I'm going to speak and give advice only out of my experience. So I'm sure that every one of you who wants to be able to communicate in English, to have normal, natural conversations with native speakers, to be able to express yourself clearly and not to take pauses after every other word to think of what word you need to use or to translate the word from your own language. Everyone has thought about that. How to improve my vocabulary. And I'm sure that you've tried a lot of different methods, but half of them just don't work. Well, I was in the exact same situation. I wanted the same things, and I still do. I want to be able to talk like a native speaker about everything, from the most simple things to medical care or politics, for example. And I've searched for the advice. I've watched a lot of videos about how to increase my vocabulary. I've listened to a lot of advice. And I'm not saying that all of them are useless. What I'm saying is that you have to try them all and to see what works for you the best and what doesn't work at all. So, advice number 1, to install some word app, that will send you notifications and the word of the day every day. And you supposedly will read the meaning of the word and learn it. I don't like those apps, neither with words nor with idioms. When I randomly read the meaning of some random word, I forget it like in an hour. Advice number 2, learn 5 or 10 new words a day. Well, yeah, for the first few days, maybe you'll do that, and maybe you'll even memorize some of them. But I've tried to do that. And for the first few days, I was very enthusiastic. I was picking words for myself, I was writing them down, and even making up some sentences. But after those few days, I got bored. I didn't know how to choose new words for myself that I'm gonna need in conversations. So this one wasn't working either. Advice number 3, to subscribe on some page in social media that is in English. I like this one. This way you will always go through some information in English, some articles for example, and you'll read it and you'll always find some new words that'll catch your attention. And it's much easier to understand and memorize a word in the context. But I want to recommend you to choose something that you're interested in. I mean really interested in. Something about your current interests. For me, for example, it was and still is to read something about babies in general, about their health, about a healthy lifestyle, about workouts, and that was actually something that I could discuss with someone else, and it was interesting for me to learn and use those words. But don't chase after the number. You don't have to learn 10 words a day and then just forget them. It's not a race or a competition. Remember that learning a language is a process. So take your time. And I can totally tell that through some time you're going to be able to learn a lot more words a day than you can now. Give your brain time to get used to the process. Advice number 4, search all the information you need in English. This one isn't easy, it's challenging. It requires qualities like persistence and patience, but it's super helpful and practical. But when I started putting into practice this advice, I kept forgetting that I had to search all the information in English, and when I had to find out something fast, I was using my native language. It took me some time before I got used to this. And now it's like a routine. I don't even think about reading something in my own language. And it has a lot of advantages too, such as it improves your reading skills, it improves your speaking skills, because when there wasn't anyone around, I was reading out loud, of course. And it was interesting for me to learn those new words because that information that I was reading, I was very interested in that information, and they were valuable. Those words were valuable because they were a part of that information. And you can search for any kind of information. For instance, you have a cat or a dog and you're not sure what to feed them with besides their special nutrition, so you can read about that. Or you're wondering how to grow strawberries in your garden. I literally mean anything. Just make it your habit. Advice number 5. Of course, using those words. And here it would be great if you had a conversation partner. If you don't have a conversation partner, you're just gonna have to talk to yourself, and it's not that bad. Sometimes it's even better than to talk to someone you feel uncomfortable talking with. And it's actually the key, using those words repeatedly. Well, I was talking to myself, I was talking to my husband, and he was pretty bugged by that. And I still do talk to my baby in English. And that's a great news for those of you who have children. Well, babies actually. When I started talking to my son, I was very surprised by the fact that I didn't know the names of things that surround me. Because, well, you know how we talk to babies. We explain them everything. We show them something and we talk about those things. For example, hey you little fellow, what you're doing? You're playing with your shoe. And this is a shoelace. Did you know that? Well, now you do. And where do we have to put our shoes on? On our feet. That's right. Well, something like that. Advice number 6. Watch some TV shows. They usually concentrate on some specific subject, and you can hear a lot of words you don't know that are repeated constantly. If you read the meanings of those words and you hear them all the time in the context, you will memorize them for sure. I mean TV shows like, for example, The Last Man Standing. The characters in the show talk about politics all the time. In Grey's Anatomy, for example, you'll hear about medicine a lot. And the last one, but not least, create some stories in English, some speeches, or just write some notes. When I write speeches for my YouTube videos, I have to look for some new words. I use them and I learn them. So just try to write something. Let's say if you had to give a talk, what would you talk about? Think about that and write it down. So guys, those are the things that I'm actually using and that are helping me. But you know, it's kind of an exercise. You have to do it constantly. So get ready and start, and I wish you luck with that. I hope this information was useful. And maybe you have some methods that are working for you and I didn't mention them, so please let me know and I'm definitely gonna try them. And see you soon. Bye.